football. Today, a matchup in the Atlantic Coast Conference between the number 22 Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech and the Tigers of Clemson. We are at Death Valley in Clemson, South Carolina, for what they call the most exciting 25 seconds in all of college football. The magical rock of Frank Howard, and then the charge down the hill to take the field. I'm Terry Gannon along with Tim Brandt, and if you don't like this atmosphere, you just don't like college football. Timmy, the emotion here and the importance of this game for both of these teams really matching that emotion today.
You really can feel the urgency, can't you? The tension, the emotion in this place, it's fantastic. It is an important game, and I'll tell you why. Both schools trying to rebuild programs. Georgia Tech 4-1, all in the conference, and in 2 weeks they play Florida State, very much in a hunt. Now for Clemson, look at this, 3-3. This is a school with a proud football tradition, and Tommy West trying to get them back. But if they lose today, they'd have to win their remaining 4 games to even qualify for a bowl. So yes, this game is big. It is emotion, and there's a sense of urgency here.
Well, remember Clemson last year 3-3. They went on to win 5 in a row and go to a bowl game, trying to do it again this year. The Yellow Jackets and the Tigers getting set. We'll have the kickoff when we come back. Georgia Tech and Clemson about set to get underway. We take you down to the field to check in with the third member of our crew. Guy who's got a couple of Super Bowl rings from his days with the New York Giants, Gary Reasons. Gary?
Terry, you and Tim talked about emotion in this game, and I'll tell you, it's going to be a contrast. Minutes ago in the Clemson locker room, Tommy West told these guys you got to play with heart, play with desire, play Clemson tough football. But George O'Leary, he wants to take the emotion out of this game. He doesn't want his guys to get caught up in it. He wants them to play a good controlled game like they did against Virginia 2 weeks ago. Sound offense, defense, and special teams.
I tell you, Gary, it's a good reason for them not to have too much emotion, because it only lasts for a couple of series anyway. Then it gets down to talent.
Well, Georgia Tech won the toss. They deferred to the second half. So back deep, Joe Woods, Tony Horn for Clemson. And Dave Frakes, the junior out of Rockford, Illinois, will get us underway. A gorgeous Saturday afternoon. Temperatures in the low 60s here at Clemson. Wow. And this one out of the end zone. You think he's pumped up a little bit? Frakes sending it out of the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20. And Clemson will start their first possession of this game from the 20-yard line. Well, Nealon Green, the junior out of Yonkers, New York, the man who leads the way. This is what he has done against Georgia Tech the last couple of years. Nealon with great numbers in the air and good numbers on the ground as well. He's dangerous on the run, and perhaps 2 of his best games against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, in the last 4 games, he's 45 of 78 for 651 yards, so he's been effective.
Play action on first down. In trouble, and down he goes at the 15-yard line. Ralph Hughes, the defensive end, with the sack. And the Chili's starting lineups, the offensive backs and receivers, a big backfield for Clemson. Emery Smith going 241 pounds, and Priester 230. Not a lot of speed there, though, Timmy.
No, and that's a problem. If you look at Emery Smith and Raymond Priester, you're really playing with 2 fullbacks, not a tailback, and because of that, they don't have a whole lot of speed. It's a young offensive line. Jamie Trimble, the only senior up there, although it is big offensive line.
Emery Smith and Raymond Priester out of the eye for Clemson on second down. And there goes the up back. Knocked out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Actually, that's Kelton Duncan, who came in after the first play. And a big game for the Tigers. They'll move the chain. So a first down after the gain of 21 by the senior from Sumter, South Carolina.
Little trap play. It's ironic we talk about not much speed with Smith and Priester, so they come right in with Duncan, and Duncan gets that big hole in the trap. Good play up front by Roundtree and Postel. They threw some pretty good blocks to free him. He was almost surprised when he got into the secondary and there was no one around.
Duncan isn't small either. 210 pounds and a senior.
He's got good feet, though, Terry.
On first down, here's Raymond Priester, his first carry of the ball game, and a good one. A gain of about 8 up to the 44-yard line. The defensive front for Georgia Tech, a great linebacking core. And you look around the ACC, there are some good linebackers in this league. Ron Rogers, the 2nd leading tackler on this team, 3rd leading tackler in the ACC, actually right behind Keith Brookie, number 35, the junior out of Sonola, Georgia.
All 3 of those linebackers are big time. They're the 3 leading tacklers on the team. You know, it's a bruising, smash mouth, Philly rattling type defense as you look at the secondary, and Perryman is a good cover guy in the corner.
2nd and 2 after the gain of 8 by Priester. Priester gets the call again. Another big hole. into Georgia Tech territory and down to the 46-yard line. Ron Rogers, we just mentioned him, he made the stop, but not before a gain of about 10.
Offensive line doing a great job. Let this thing start, and then you'll be able to see where the hole is right away. Stop it right there, and he's got an alley. Look at this. There's nobody on either side of this running lane. Nobody to fill, and he keeps getting into the secondary, and he's saying, hey, wait a minute. Good thing he's brought down from behind by Brooking, or he could have had some big yards there.
Now look at what Emery Smith, the fullback, can do, too. He led the way and cleared it up front for Raymond Priester. Little option out of the shotgun. Priester, another good game. Inside the 45 down to about the 43-yard line. And a look at what Clemson has done offensively and Georgia Tech defensively. 147, almost 148 yards on the ground for Clemson. That's the way they like to do it. But today they're going to have to put the ball in the air.
You know what's amazing to me? Leave that up for a second. Look at this right here. More passing yards and rushing yards at Clemson. Now, I'm telling you, they're talking passing game at Clemson, which is unprecedented. We'll even see 4 wideout sets at times in the shotgun. So Clemson, which has always been a running football team, now using pass and play action and options now to run their attack.
And much of that due to the defenses they've been seeing. A lot of people putting 8 men in the box up front to try to stop the run. And Nealon Green calls timeout. The play clock running down. We'll step away for a moment as well. Clemson on their first drive of the game. First drive of the game for the Clemson Tigers. They started at their own 20-yard line. Now they are at the 44 of Georgia Tech. So they have moved the football. They've done it on the ground. And right now, looking at a 2nd and 7. Kelton Dunnigan in for Raymond Priester as they split the backs a little bit in the backfield. Nealon Green to throw for the first time out of a straight drop and underthrows the intended receiver, Raymond Priester. And that'll bring up 3rd and 7. You look at the ACC standings. Florida State, of course, undefeated, but Georgia Tech right behind. They still have the Seminoles in 2 weeks at Georgia Tech. And down the line, Virginia with a big win over NC State. The results in the ACC. And Maryland right now putting up 31 at the half on Wake Forest.
Maryland doing something it hadn't done in a year. That scores some points. They haven't been able to get any type of offense generated. How about that Florida State-Virginia game next week? That becomes huge.
Big one. 3rd and 7 to the air for Tony Horn. And he overthrows it. So Nealon Green 0 for 2. After they moved the ball from the 20 all the way down to the 44 of Georgia Tech.
You know, Terry, as we watch Nealon come off the field, I'm telling you something. You talked about the emotion at the beginning of the telecast. I think sometimes emotion gets in the way of concentration. His adrenaline flow is such right now that every pass he throws is way overthrown. I think he's got too much zip on it right now. That's all emotion.
Kevin Laird back for his first punt of the afternoon for Clemson. Averaging just under 38 yards a punt. Nate Perriman back at his own 10-yard line for the Yellow Jackets. It's a high, short punt. Perriman up to his own 18-yard line and falls ahead. A punt of 28 yards. The fair catch. Still no score. Georgia Tech taking over. College football on ABC Sports brought to you by Ford Motor Company, where quality is job one. The U.S. Army, be a part of the toughest, smartest Army in the world. Be all you can be. First Brands Corporation, makers of STP Complete Fuel System Cleaner. And Chili's Grill and Bar, home of the Big Mouth Burgers. Well, it is homecoming week, and they have worked on these floats all week long on the campus of Clemson. They were judged this morning, and we rode by them the last couple of days. There's some beautiful floats.
They'll announce the winner at halftime as you look at Joe Hamilton. Interesting, Joe Hamilton's had a strong year, but he's a 19-year-old from the great state of South Carolina down here. Was recruited hard by Clemson, also by Penn State and Nebraska. But it's interesting, a South Carolina kid running the city school and a New York kid running the school here at Clemson.
First down. And the pitch to C.J. Williams. Far side looking for room. Not going to find much. Gets ahead for maybe one. Antoine Edwards, a strong safety, made the tackle. The Chili's starting lineups for Georgia Tech. The offensive backs and receivers. Virgil Johnson, the freshman, getting a start at fullback. And C.J. Williams, maybe the numbers aren't what they were a year ago, but he has played well. A guy who seems to glide into holes, and all of a sudden he's not explosive, but you look up and he's got 120 yards on the day. The offensive line, a big one. Curtis McGee, a 4-year starter, the senior out of Marshville, North Carolina. Harvey Middleton in motion. catches a pass over the middle, and he's met at the 27-yard line. As soon as he catches the football, a couple of yards short of the first down. Antoine Edwards again with the tackle. And you look at the defensive front seven of Clemson, a young group, but a good one at linebacker. Not only the ACC Rookie of the Year last year, Anthony Simmons, but also National Freshman of the Year as well. He is a bit undersized, about 220, but Timmy, he really hits you. And the secondary has had its problems throughout the year. They've moved people around. Peter Ford with 10 career interceptions in the top 10 in Clemson history. Straight ahead and up to the 29-yard line, maybe just short of a first down. Virgil Johnson will have to wait and see.
You know, it is a very young defense, young team for Clemson all the way through. But the defense has had a lot of success this year. 22 sacks for the defense. They only had 28 all last year. 12 of those, of course, came against Furman. So you've got to say, well, it wasn't the strongest team that they were playing. But 22 sacks for the year at this point is pretty daggone good.
Virgil Johnson has the first down. So they move the chains. Tommy West, the head coach here at Clemson, of course, took over a couple of years ago. First game, the Peach Bowl, in the 15-14 win over Kentucky. But now in his third year, and with a 3-3 record, and they've gone loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, which does not bode well today. They'll try to change that pattern. C.J. Williams over the left side, and not much running room again. Tough to run against this Clemson defense. Almost 200 yards on the ground for Tech on average, but only 138 given up by Clemson. Look down to the total too, Tim. 349 to 349. I guess we'll have 349 yards total today.
Yeah, but let me show you this right here up near the top. See this? 199 yards rushing a game for Tech. That ranks second in the conference. They've had a great success this year running the football.
2nd and 7. Batted down. Adrian Dingle, the outside linebacker, a sophomore out of Holly Hill, South Carolina. And he's 6'3". He got one of his hands up in the air to knock down the pass of Joe Hamilton.
Dingle, they'll use him outside. They try to keep him out there because of his range, his height, his ability to use his feet. Here he just uses his height and timing, and he times it perfectly. But this is a guy that has 3.5 sacks on the year. He already has an interception doing that, just that very thing right there. He's very athletic on the corner.
3rd down and 7. Dexter Stallworth in motion to the far side. On the roll is Hamilton. He's got a lane to run. Crossed the 40 and then tripped up at the 42-yard line. Peter Ford made the tackle, but he's got a Georgia Tech first down.
You know, he could have had a lot more if Middleton had taken out Ford. He was right with Ford, gave him up to go after the safety Allen. But the block that was right there in front of him that could have gained all the yardage, he backs away from. Watch Middleton now. All right, this is the guy you want to block right here. Once he yells fire, 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 he's running. All right, now just turn and throw a block right there. Freeze it. Here's the guy that makes the tackle right over here. You know, that's the guy you wanted to block, not the safety 10, Allen, coming over.
Still a gain of 11 and a first down, though. Here comes Hamilton. He's popped at the 43. Anthony Simmons, you get a look at the speed and some of the power of the weak side linebacker.
Oh, my. Talk about rattling your fillings, put your eyeballs in your forehead. There's Simmons. He's the leading tackler. Butkus candidate. Guy really comes hard to the football. He got some pressure from Dingle. They closed down and made him pay for the run.
Anthony Simmons, the leading tackler on this team and the leading tackler in the ACC. 2nd down and 8 for Georgia Tech on their first drive of the ballgame. C.J. Williams comes back this side, but they had him by the ankle. Wrapped up after he falls ahead for maybe 1. And that will bring up 3rd and long.
Another nice job by Simmons, who went head up with the tight end Chris Myers. And Myers got an initial block on him, but that just led him to the ball carrier Williams.
We talked to both coaches, Timmy, heading into this one. They say it's so important what these teams do on first down, on their early downs. Neither one wants to get in 3rd and long and have to go to the straight drop. Neither quarterback really that type of player. 3rd and 6. Hamilton throws over the middle to Middleton, complete, a first down, and down to the 36-yard line. Antoine Edwards on the coverage and the tackle, but a big pass to Harvey Middleton, the junior out of Jamestown, South Carolina.
And that was a nicely thrown pass by Hamilton. Now take a look at what takes place here. They're in a zone defense. He's just going to drag across the middle. Now if you stop right there, I'll show you. Here's the linebacker. Here's the safety in the zone. Now Hamilton reads this. He has to throw over the linebacker under the safety. Perfectly thrown, well executed play.
Gain of 17. The straight drop again. The swing pass. This time it's batted down and almost picked off.
Boy, look who it is that time. Howard Bartley again. It's a guy that's 6'2", got his hands up in the air, and the timing was perfect. Boy, both outside linebackers playing well. The outside guy, 47, is who you're looking at. He looks over the middle, comes back to the progression. He's trying to throw to the little back out of the backfield. And there's 47. Bartley gets his hand on it and almost got the pick.
Bartley, a sophomore out of Decatur, Georgia. Missed last year with a knee injury, but playing well this year. C.J. Williams hit right at the line of scrimmage and not going anywhere.
Great play by Mon Wilson, the linebacker.
Wilson, the second leading tackler on the Clemson defense. Tim, we mentioned it briefly before, but not only these two clubs, but you look around the ACC, some of the best groups of linebackers in the country. In Virginia's linebackers, Georgia Tech's obviously, Florida State's, North Carolina's.
You know, talking to Daryl Moody yesterday, who was the offensive coordinator for Clemson, he says, I think defenses these days in the 90s are ahead of the offenses. I don't agree with that, but certainly in this league, there are better defenses than there are offenses this year.
3rd and 11, Tech 3 for 3 on 3rd downs on the first drive. Quick throw, complete right near the first down. Harvey Middleton went up in the air to get it. Peter Ford was there with him. We'll see where they mark it. He should have a first down.
Boy, and Howard Bartley just made Joe Hamilton pay for throwing that pass. Here's your guy going to be out here, coming out from the outside. Now watch the quarterback just before he throws it. Here comes 47. Bartley, boom, puts a head right in his chest. Still gets the pass off nicely. And Middleton makes the catch. Boy, watch Bartley just nail him. I'm telling you, that is picture perfect, where you have the leverage under you, the power comes through your legs, your helmet goes up under the chest and into the chin.
3rd catch for Harvey Middleton, though. Hamilton to Middleton, a combination that dates back to their childhood dates. And they blow this one dead. Flags on the play. And we'll sort it out. We'll wait for the word from Ronald Cherry, the referee, and his crew.
With a dead ball, false start on the offense, a 5-yard penalty, they still have first down.
So they'll back them up 5 yards while we have a moment. Don't forget, next Saturday, great lineup at 3:30 Eastern time. All of you in this viewing area will see the game that Tim talked about. Virginia and Florida State should be a great one. Virginia with a big win today over NC State. Elsewhere, Ohio State and Iowa, Texas, Colorado, Washington, Oregon. Next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern. There's also another Pac-10 game. Call your local cable operator for the game available on pay-per-view as well. Inside the 5, Harvey Middleton with the catch at the 1-yard line. His 4th catch already this afternoon. The good throw from Hamilton, but Middleton went to the air to catch that one.
Boy, Middleton never quit on the pattern. Good play action, and I'm watching C.J. Williams, who came open in the flats, and I'm thinking, no, he went to the wrong guy. But look at Middleton. Again, just great speed by the outside guy. He beats the corner and makes a nice catch at the 1.
1st and goal at the 1-yard line. C.J. Williams to the air, and he got there. Touchdown, Georgia Tech.
Pretty impressive drive, huh, by Georgia Tech?
You look at how they did it as well, not only on the ground but to the air. 4 catches on the drive by Middleton for 64 yards already.
This is just the offensive line firing out and giving them enough room to get up and over. On the goal line defense by Clemson, they couldn't penetrate enough.
Brad Chambers on for the extra point. It's up, and it is good. So the opening drive for the Yellow Jackets, a good one. They take it all the way down the field to put 7 on the board. They lead by a touchdown early in this one. We take you back exactly 100 years and a look at the first Clemson football team, coached by Walter Riggs. The reason? He was one of only 2 people on campus to have seen a football game. By the way, they beat Furman 14-6 in that contest. I hope you don't recognize any of those guys.
No, and to dispel any myths, Bob Bradley, the longtime employee, the longtime great here at Clemson, was not on that team.
No, he was not. Good scoring drive on the opening possession by Georgia Tech. 81 of those, or 81 yards, but 64 of those in the air to Harvey Middleton. 4 catches making up those 64 yards. Dave Frakes with his second kickoff of the game. Back deep, Tony Horn and Joe Woods inside their own 5. Frakes kicked it out of the end zone on his first attempt. This one a little bit shorter. Horn 6 yards deep. Again, they'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. Well, let's get our first update from New York. We check in with Roger Twibell. Roger, what's going on?
Well, Terry, I'm sitting in today for John Saunders, who will be back next Saturday, but we've got an upset in the making in the Big Ten. Take a look at John Reeves of Purdue. He goes deep to Brian Alford, 55 yards for the touchdown. That made it 14-0. Earlier, Reeves had hit on an 86-yarder to Isaac Jones, 14-0 there. Iowa leads, or excuse me, the final now, Iowa over Penn State, 21-20. Terry.
Big upset happening, and another one already taking place. Thanks, Roger. First down at the 20. The pitch to Raymond Priester. A good hole over the left side and out to the 27-yard line. They've kept it on the ground and moved the ball well here. Well, tomorrow ABC Sports brings you Major League Soccer's first championship game. The LA Galaxy battling DC United. America's top 2 teams have one goal in mind, winning the first ever MLS Cup 96. Don't miss it tomorrow live at 3:30 Eastern right here on ABC.
DC United started off very poorly this year, then got on a roll and then had a great series against Tampa Bay, and they go in with a lot of confidence against the Galaxy.
A lot of former Virginia players on the DC United team, and a number of UCLA players on the Galaxy. First pass to Tony Horn, complete out to the 40-yard line. Keith Brooking on the coverage and the stop. But Tony Horn, the junior out of Rockingham, North Carolina, the leading receiver on this team. That was the 16th catch of the year, and that was a gain of 13 yards.
What's impressive about Horn is not only his 16 catches, but he averages 17 yards every time he makes a catch. So it seems like every time they throw his direction, they're moving the chains, and they did this time. Not a big guy, 5'11". None of the receivers at Clemson are big, but they know where the sticks are. They're very smart receivers.
And Horn with a lot of speed, too, one of their deep threats. First down, and the pitch out to Priester. The cut back, a big hole across midfield, and down to the 48-yard line of Georgia Tech. A nice block again from Emery Smith and a gain of 12. And Timmy, both DeLon and Emery Smith opening up big holes for the Tigers.
Watch this. Now the tackle is made by Jason Bostic. If he doesn't, it's a touchdown. Priester is a big, strong guy. Bostic's not very big, so he had to get him around the ankles and just hold on. Got one leg, but that was the last line of defense. Bostic misses that tackle. So long. See you later. Priester into the gates.
Priester has 39 yards already in the game, and the third leading rusher at 88 yards per game in the ACC. He broke the single-season rushing record of Clemson last year. Option this side. Duncan gets the pitch out of the grasp of one tackler, but then pushed out of bounds right about the line of scrimmage. In fact, he may have lost one.
Yeah, and you know why that play didn't work? Because Nealon Green, who's a junior but just learning the quarterback situation, the quarterback position, pitched it too early. He read Miles. That's his right read, the correct read, but then he pitched too early before Miles committed. So Miles was able to get out on the pitch man, string the play out for everybody else to pursue and make the tackle before it gained anything.
It's really one of the things the coaches have tried to work with Nealon Green about. In the Florida State game, the Tigers played well, but that's one of the things Nealon Green did throughout the game. The early pitch, not putting pressure on the defensive player. Kelton Duncan straight up the middle inside the 40 to the 39. Close to a first down. He may be just short.
Terry, when this season began, the middle of that defensive line for Georgia Tech was a question mark. You had Shepard and Bradford, Roberts and Witherspoon. These were guys that didn't have a whole lot of experience. And George O'Leary was telling us early in the season, well, that's the biggest question mark we have. Those guys have to come along. Well, they've played pretty well, and George O'Leary's been happy with them as you look at Big George. But right now, the middle's playing soft, and it's killing them. Clemson's getting some big yardage out of the middle.
Dunnigan and Priester the backs once again on 3rd down and 2. On the roll, and a big hole for Green. Inside the 30 down to the 28-yard line. Keith Brooking on the stop. At that time, a good decision by Nealon Green to tuck it and go ahead and run for the first down.
Pitched too early the last time. This time he doesn't pitch too early. As a matter of fact, he makes a wise decision. Watch what happens. They expect him to pitch. Boom. Nobody's even out there. Now you get a block on the corner. You can turn it up and you have another first down and you move the chains. What they're doing effectively is they're balancing things. They're going up the middle, they're going on the corner, and they're throwing the ball. So you're seeing more diversity at a Tommy West football team right now.
Emery Smith now in the backfield for Dunnigan. He along with Raymond Priester. Priester gets the call straight ahead. Hit at the line of scrimmage, but powers his way ahead for a couple of yards. Patrick Bradford, the junior out of Georgetown, South Carolina, met him right at the line of scrimmage. Well, it's a gorgeous day. Temperatures in the low 60s. Can't get any better than this as you look at some of the top 25 and what they are doing today.
You know, everybody's talking about Ohio State losing right now. It's in the first quarter. They're down 14-0, an upset in the making. I'm telling you, Ohio State will come back and win that game by at least a touchdown or two. It's still early in the ball game. They're strong enough to do that. They get better as the game goes on. Georgia Tech ranked for the first time in a long time.
Highest ranking since 1990 when they won the national championship. Green dropped by Emery Smith out of the backfield.
You know, Emery Smith, he ran for 100 yards against Georgia Tech last year. He's 6 foot. He's 241 pounds. You talk about what a talent he is, but he's got to be able to catch the ball. If he's going to go to the next level, that's one thing they want out of their backs. If you're a tailback, which I guess he would think about. If you're a fullback, you become more of a blocking player, which he does. But he's not a great receiver, and that ball has to be caught. It was right there in the breadbasket.
Emery, of course, the brother of a guy named Emmett. Does a little something on Sundays. In shoulder pads. Elon Green on 3rd and 6 on the scramble. Got a man wide open. Kenya Crooks inside the 10, knocked out of bounds at the 5-yard line. 1st and goal for the Tigers.
I think that ball was intended for the tight end Lamont Hall. Great read by Elon Green, who actually checked off, went through the progression. Just watch the eyes of Green. He's looking left for his tight end. That's where he's going to go. Now he rolls right, and then Crooks adjusts and rolls with him. And when the quarterback went out to that side, he went out to that side, found himself open, big gainer.
Kenya Crooks, a disappointing year last year, thought about transferring, but having a good one here in 96. 1st and goal at the 5. Priester to the near, to the end zone. Touchdown, Tigers. And this has the makings of a good one here in Death Valley.
Talk about what a football has to do, a fullback has to do. Watch this block coming by Emery. Boom, there's the block, clears the linebacker out, Rogers. All you have to do is follow that thing up. That's exactly what Priester did. So Emery Smith got the big block that counted. Priester took it to the house.
The point after from Matt Padgett, the freshman out of Newberry, South Carolina. And we are tied at 7-7.
You know, a funny video can happen at any time. This week, Funniest Videos is happening at a special time. 7:30, 6:30 Central, ABC Sunday.
Sunday, Lois and Clark have spent the last week in paradise.
How are we going to make it through the day?
But just when they thought they'd grow old together, one woman's quest for eternal youth
We need a donor.
could make Lois age before her time.
We are starting a new life together.
An all-new Lois and Clark, ABC Sunday.
Here's the touchdown by Clemson coming right at you. Offensive line fires out. Emery Smith gets a block. Priester follows up. Big old number 77. Butler comes right off his butt and into the end zone and scores.
Well, you've got Georgia Tech at 4-1 overall and in the ACC. They had a week to prepare for this game. It looked like it on that opening drive. They went to the air, kept it on the ground. They balanced it up nicely to drive to make it 7-0. But then the nice drive by Georgia Tech, by Clemson, coming right back. And Timmy, this looks like a good one. You've got Clemson, who won last week against Duke, but it wasn't all that impressive. As you look at David Richardson handling the kickoff duties for the Tigers. The win last week, 13-6. Brandon Priester said, we want to celebrate that one. We didn't play all that well. They were pumped to come into this one. And the kick out of bounds. They'll bring it out to the 35-yard line.
Free kick out of bounds by the kicking team. 5 yards. They put the ball on the 30-yard line.
Well, Monday night at 8 Eastern, Annie Potts stars in an all-new Dangerous Minds. And Junior Seau has San Diego charged up because the Raiders are coming to town. The AFC West rivals clash on ABC's NFL Monday Night Football. That's Monday right here on ABC.
Head coach of the Chargers, Bobby Ross, coached Georgia Tech to a national championship, 1990.
George O'Leary spent a year as a defensive line coach with Bobby Ross at San San Diego. Ball on the ground. Hamilton may have gotten it back, though. Looked like he did. Not sure he ever had a handle on it.
Top of the show, we talked about both these teams needing a win today for various reasons. We talked about both having talent, but the situation is both teams have been inconsistent this year. Too many penalties and turnovers for Georgia Tech. Here they put the ball on the ground. Just that should never happen. That's the snap, the battery between the center and the quarterback. And this is following a bad kickoff from Clemson, which went out of bounds, which gave Tech the ball at the 30. So, you know, it's a bad situation, or at the 35. Both teams have suffered from inconsistencies this year, although both have a lot of talent.
Well, George O'Leary isn't going to be happy about this either. Joe Hamilton having to call a timeout. And he'll talk things over on the sidelines. Well, George O'Leary in his second year, just one win over 500, 10-9, but he's done a marvelous job turning this program around. They were 1-10 in 1994. Last year went 6-5, 5-3 in the ACC, and they were within a point a couple of times of going to a bowl game. They lost, what, 20-19 to Arizona, lost to Georgia 18-17, and are playing awfully well this year.
Yeah, really surprised North Carolina and Maryland, as you mentioned, almost got Arizona and Georgia.
Well, you look at Andy Ford on the sideline. Of course, part of the identical twin combo of Andy and Peter Ford. Can you tell the difference?
See, I can now. I can. I look at the top of their heads and I can tell the difference between the two. I know which one is which, but you don't want me to.
Well, you're the only one then. Peter on the left, Andy on the right. We have the benefit of the graphics. Of course, the coaches don't. This is how they tell them apart. Peter with the number 29 tattoo. Andy with the number 43 tattoo. That's the only way.
Yeah, but see, he's very outgoing. And the other side, you've got Andy, who's very quiet, and then Peter's married. You know, he's a family guy, and he lives with the guys back in the dorm, back in the apartment.
Both defensive backs, and you wonder if they've ever switched numbers and done it during the game, switched jerseys. Can't now because they got the tattoos on them. C.J. Williams on second down, or first down, excuse me, across the 35 out to the 36-yard line.
Not only do they look exactly alike, but their time in the 40 is almost exactly alike. Their vertical jump is almost identical. Their grade point average is almost identical. I mean, all the way through, they're very, 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 very similar.
Well, Andy started the first 5 games of last year, had an ankle injury. So who came in? Peter. He started from then on. Peter getting the starting nod this year, though. 10 career interceptions. 3rd and 10. Hamilton on the roll, far side. Throws on the run, caught by Mike Sheridan at the 42-yard line. And good enough for a first down. Joe Hamilton, a lot of success in the air so far. The 4 passes to Harvey Middleton, and a couple of them big 3rd down conversions. This one, a 3rd down conversion. They go ahead for 22 yards. Some of the other scores from around the country. Roger Twybo will keep us updated in the studio all day long. John Saunders getting the day off, attending the wedding of Jamie Valvano, the daughter of my former coach, the late Jim Valvano. So our best to Jamie. Hamilton on the run again, this time right forward to the 34-yard line. Howard Bartley caught him from behind and actually propelled him a couple of yards. Gain of about 7 on the play. It brings up 2nd and 3 for the Yellow Jackets. Johnson and Williams in the eye. They split the receivers. Sheridan now in motion to the far side. The option, Hamilton cuts back up, should have a first down. Almost to the 30-yard line.
Interesting play. They pulled Michael Minter, the guard, tried to get him out in front of the play. He got out there and had good feet to get there, but then couldn't capitalize on the block. Couldn't get anybody out of the way. Still got enough for the first.
Well, both offensive impressive so far, Timmy, and doing it in 2 different ways. Georgia Tech, a lot of it through the air. They send C.J. Williams wide to the far side, 2 receivers to the near side. Stallworth in motion. Comes back. Charlie Rogers met right at the line of scrimmage and pulls his way ahead across the 30 to the 29. Didn't get much, though. Rogers, the tailback and a sophomore out of Cliffwood, New Jersey.
You mentioned this was homecoming. You realize Clemson has played at home only twice in the last 11 months.
Good to be back home for Tommy West and the troops. They haven't lost a homecoming game since 1989. That was to Georgia Tech. Only one loss in the last 26 years. And the first quarter has come to an end. We've got a good one going on here at Death Valley. Clemson and Georgia Tech tied up at 7. Second quarter about to get underway. Terry Gannon, Tim Brandt, Gary Reason's down on the field. We're all knotted up at 7. The Yellow Jackets and the Tigers. Georgia Tech with a second down and 8 coming up at the 29-yard line of Clemson. Johnson, Williams in the eye, Middleton in motion to the far side. Swing pass out to C.J. Williams. He's got a couple of blockers, but brought down at the 22-yard line. Mond Wilson caught him and drove him out of bounds. You look at the first quarter stats, Tim.
Fairly even all the way through. If you look at the scores, even the plays are almost even. First down's pretty much the same thing. Rushing yards, there's a big advantage there for Clemson. But then again, the other side, Georgia Tech's been able to pass the ball. George O'Leary came into this ball game saying, hey, we need to pass against Clemson. It's not that we're getting away from the run, but they just load up 8 guys in the box between tackle to tackle. They're trying to shut down the run. They're forcing us to pass. We're going to take advantage of that and take what the defense gives us. So all the way across the board, it's pretty evenly matched, and it's going pretty much the way we expected it would.
Measuring for the first down. And it looks like they are just short. And the other thing, no turnovers in the game and only 1 penalty to this point. That was a procedure call against Georgia Tech earlier in the first quarter. So both coaches have to be happy about that. One of the things that Tommy West was upset about in the win last week against Duke, the 10 penalties really took themselves out of scoring opportunities, and they've done that a number of times throughout the year.
Yeah. Tech likes to spread their offense to thin out the defense, but if there's 7 guys loaded up tackle to tackle defensively, they're going to throw the ball, and so far they've been very effective with that type of offense.
Very good on third downs as well. 5 for 5. Matt Dubin in now. The full house backfield. Williams straight ahead and has the first down just inside the 20-yard line.
When they load up that tight with the I formation, I'll guarantee you that they're saying, right, we're coming straight ahead. The rules are straight ahead, no fair dodge. And look at the right side of the line. Page, Shalaj, those guys just firing out. Jackson gets a block. They come straight ahead, and they just push it forward to get the first. There was no surprise there that we're going to run the ball.
The one thing that C.J. Williams is missing is that lead fullback blocker. Charles Wiley, now with a knee injury against North Carolina. He's out for the year. And Williams wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage. Raymond White, a nose guard, a junior out of Clinton, Mississippi, made the stop.
Terry, it is because Wiley's not there, but there's more to it than that. When people say, well, he only has 409 yards this year coming into this game. Part of that is because Tech's success this year, he has sat out a lot in the second half. And, you know, that hurts statistics huge.
But they're 4-1, which is the main stat. Play action, and Hamilton drops the football. Gets it back at the 31. Anthony Simmons was on him very quickly. And those are things you can't have happen.
He had everything going for him here. C.J. got a block. There wasn't a whole lot of pressure. If you watch C.J. Williams right here get a block on the blitz man coming out of the corner, that's Wilson. But then he just dropped the ball. I mean, he was expecting pressure, didn't get it. The ball's on the ground. Now they have a huge loss, and it's third down in a taxi ride.
Loss of 11, and it brings up 3rd and 21. And it brings the crowd to its feet. Quarterback draw, Hamilton. Knocked down at the 23, so he's well short of the original line of scrimmage. We'll see where they mark it, but you've got a field goal try coming up for George O'Leary's team. They put it down right at the 32-yard line. So a try of 42 yards for Brad Chambers.
This is into the wind, too, Terry.
enough and good. Brad Chambers, the field goal of 42 yards. 43 is his longest. And so Georgia Tech, even though stopped on their drive, they put 3 on the board. And they lead it 10-7 with 12:19 left until half.
Chambers not only kicked this ball into the wind, but it also was tipped, and he still kicked it 43 yards. Here's your guy over here is going to tip it. Now go ahead and roll it, and you'll see that Price, who is 6'6" and a huge wingspan, actually got a hand on it. The ball is tipped into the wind and still goes 43 yards for the field goal, and it's good. That's one heck of a kick.
You've got gusts up to 20 miles per hour today, and that was tipped. So Chambers with a 42-yard field goal. That's Dave Frakes, who will kick off for Georgia Tech. 10-7, the Yellow Jackets lead with 12:19 left until halftime. Woods and Horn back deep. Horn watches it bounce out of bounds, and they will bring it out to the 35-yard line, most likely.
That amazes me. That's 2 kickoffs in a row that have gone out of bounds that we've seen in this ball game.
Now, at the conclusion of today's game, we will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game from each team. To date, Chevrolet has awarded nearly $6 million to scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. So Clemson takes over 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. They moved it well on their first 2 drives of the game. Came up empty on the first one, but put a touchdown on the board the last time they touched the football. Pitch to Priester near side. He has a huge hole across midfield and brought down at the 38. There was no one near him once he burst through that line.
Linebacker overran the play. Keith Brooking is the guy that's got to stop this play, but you'll see the linebacker here overruns it. Brookings 35. Watch, he gets right out of the hole, and then Emery Smith just rides him out of there, and it's wide open for Priester to break the big gainer. I mean, Brookings has to play this thing inside out. Watch 35. He's got to break down right here, take on the blocker. He can't run out of the play. He's the only guy in the hole. He's got to stuff it. He's got to jam the play.
A gain of 27 on the play. So it's first down at the 38. The give to Kelton Dunnigan, still fighting his way to the 37-yard line. Brought down by Ron Rogers along with Keith Brooking.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. Keith Brooking, we isolated on him. We watched him run out of the play, but at the same time, he has 8 unassisted tackles, and we're just starting the second quarter here. He's having a marvelous football game. He's all over the field. Just that one play, we happened to be on him when he ran himself out of the play. But here he makes the tackle. He's the first guy to make this tackle. He's got 8 for the game.
Well, he's had a terrific year this year, along with Ron Rogers. You look at what they did coming into the game. Second and third leading tacklers in the ACC. There's Anthony Simmons, the linebacker for Clemson, the leading tackler in the league. Drop by Green. He's got a man wide open. The diving catch inside the 5 by Tony Horn. Green right on the money, and an outstanding leaping catch by Horn, and a gain of 32. It's first and goal, Clemson.
Well, I've got to tell you, Horn got locked on a linebacker, and that's a mismatch. Play action, and the linebackers take the bait. Clemens takes the bait. Then you've got the receiver, Horn, just running by Clemens, who's a linebacker, and that is a mismatch right from the start. Great play action to hold him. The pass was well thrown. Horn lays out to make the catch. They got the matchup they wanted against Clemens, the linebacker. It all worked that time.
First and goal, Tigers at the 4-yard line. Priester met right at the line and driven back. Patrick Bradford, the first man to meet him. Priester with a touchdown already today. You know, he and Emery Smith, we mentioned Priester broke the single-season rushing record last year here at Clemson. And he and Smith, the most yards of any duo in the backfield between them in Clemson history. Second and goal at the 4. Smith fighting his way down to the goal line. No signal yet. And he didn't get in.
I think some of the players were saying he reached the ball over and broke the plane, but his knee hit the ground before he got near the goal line. surprised. I know with two big backs, they like to jam it up there, tackle to tackle, but I'm surprised down that close they didn't try to test the corners. Now you got the ball almost touching the goal line. Now you're almost forced to take it straight up there with a power play. Quarterback sneaker power.
Double tight end set. Dunnigan joins Smith and Priester in the backfield. Straight ahead is Smith to the end zone. Touchdown Clemson.
Coming into this ball game, we felt Clemson had to be able to throw the ball against Tech to have any success with the running game. They ran that play action and hit Horn on the big pass play. That's the key to the whole thing. Then the running game opens up and bingo, you're on the board.
And now if you're Georgia Tech, defensively, you don't know what to key on. And you've also got a dangerous quarterback in Green who can run the football. Matt Padgett on for the second time this afternoon. Splits the uprights with a point after. And the Tigers take the lead to Cannon Sound. It's 14-10 and better than 70,000 going wild. They're at homecoming in Death Valley. College football on ABC Sports, brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And Boston Market, carving out a better sandwich. 14-10. The Tigers leading here with 9:26 left in the first half. Timmy, it's been all offense for both teams so far, moving the football. Clemson didn't score on their opening drive, but they moved it down the field on that one as well.
Well, George O'Leary said last year Tech had too many Cowboys out there. Now the defense is playing better this year as a unit, but here they haven't been able to stop Clemson. Clemson forced you to be very disciplined with option and play action, and if you buy the bait and run yourself out of the area, they make you pay, and they did. The big pass to Horn.
Kevin Richardson on to kick for the Tigers. Charlie Rogers at his own 5-yard line. Slammed to the ground at the 26. O.J. Childress, the backup inside linebacker, made the stop. Well, of course, Emery Smith with the touchdown. His brother Emmett plays a little bit on Sunday afternoons for the Cowboys, and we had a chance to ask Emmett about Emery's chances to join him on Sundays in the NFL.
He has what it takes, and not just because he's my brother, but I think he has a lot of potential and a lot of room to grow. And with that in mind, there's no telling how good an individual can be.
Emmitt Smith was on the sidelines last year when these two teams met in Atlanta. What a Clemson victory there. Over the middle, incomplete. Mike Sheridan, the intended receiver.
Well, a lot of contact between the linebackers and Sheridan. No flags, good no call, but I mean they were bumping and grinding all the way across the middle.
181 total yards for the Tigers so far.
This is what we're talking about. Clemson just forces you to be disciplined. I mean, with the option, the play action, the pass. If you're not disciplined, if you're not playing assignment defense, you're going to get burned, and they have.
2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass. They split the backs. Quick throw out to Harvey Middleton. Touchback, has a first down for the Yellow Jackets up to the 37-yard line.
I'm going to tell you, Middleton could get 10 catches today if he wants to. He's got 5 now. He can get 5 more easily. He could have 15 catches. There is nobody out there that's going to stop him, especially if they're playing in a zone like they did here. You've got Ford, 29, playing soft on the corner. He gets some help from the safety, Edwards, but they'll keep moving him around. They'll play him out wide. They'll play him in the middle. Look at him out here. I mean, he just goes down, runs a little hook. They play soft on him. He can do that all day. You pick up 5, 10 yards at a chunk. He could have 15 catches today.
That ball went right through the hands of Trevor Price. The defensive end has already tipped the field goal attempt, which actually went through the uprights there. Ball's loose. Ball's loose on the ground. We'll sort it out. C.J. Williams on the carry and the fumble. Clemson thinks they have it, and they do.
I don't think the officials even saw it until they got off the pile. It looked like Price came up with it, and the officials had no clue that the ball was even loose.
And as you know, that thing changes hands 4 or 5 times in the pile.
Well, I thought C.J. lost this pretty early, but way before he ever hit the ground. The ball gets tipped right there. The ball is out. The officials don't see it because they're shielded by bodies, but the ball's on the ground. Price has it right now. Then the officials come up. They're just marking the spot thinking that C.J. Williams is down, and then they unpile, and Price comes up with the ball.
First turnover of the game. So potentially the first big mistake of the game as well by Georgia Tech. 1st and 10 at the 39. On the option, and the pitch back, cut back to the 30-yard line. And close to a first down for Clemson. Sam Sanders on the carry, and he's the freshman, Timmy, the one guy in that backfield who has tailback speed.
Two things, Terry. It's Georgia Tech that comes into this game with a 4-1 record, but it's Clemson that's playing with a lot of confidence right now. And if Georgia Tech isn't careful, Clemson can run them right out of Clemson, South Carolina, back to Atlanta. The other thing is the way that we've seen Hamilton play. I won't be surprised if we see Shaw come into the ballgame at quarterback fairly soon now.
Just shy of a first down, so it's 2nd and 1. Clemson's going to throw. Elon Green tucks it under now, and he has a first down for the Tigers. Ron Rogers made the tackle after a gain of about 1.5 yards from Elon Green. Well, a different look for the Tigers now as they bring in their freshman tailback, Sam Sanders. Gives them a little speed in the backfield. Very quickly, let's go to Gary Reasons on the sideline. Gary?
Terry, you and Tim have talked a little bit about this Clemson offense today and what they've done. A lot of it is relative to what Darrell Moody has come in here from North Carolina. Tommy West told us yesterday in our meeting that he wanted to bring Darrell in here to expand this offense, and he's done so with Nelon Green. Done an effective job throwing the ball, and Nelon running as well.
Gary Sanders with the carry this time, not going anywhere. Bradford got him as soon as he took the handoff.
I was going to say Bradford has come up with some good hits today. There's a guy 287 pounds, and if he gets off the block and gets into the hole, you better bring your lunch pail, but he's going to make you pay, and he's going to keep you there a while.
Defensive line for Georgia Tech, which has played better than they did last year. Much improved, especially in terms of rushing the passer. Always been tough against the run. Supported by those 3 linebackers. A loss of 1 on the play, so it brings up 2nd and 11. Out of the shotgun is Green. Against the blitz, the quick out, complete at the 22. Down to the 10-yard line. Another big play through the air. Tony Horn again on the receiving end of the pass from Nelon Green, and a gain of 18.
They put Joe Woods to the top of the field up there, and then they put Horn underneath of him. Watch this. He just kind of rubs off of him. It's almost like a pick playing basketball, and they aren't picking anybody, but they're just running the wide guy out, and you come underneath of him, so hopefully he'll take the defender with him. That time it worked to perfection. He was open in the flats. That's just a timing pattern. Get it out there, and he'll make the catch.
3rd catch of the afternoon for Tony Horn. The first one, a spectacular catch that set up the touchdown. Play action to roll out. Green looking to the end zone. Throwing. Touchdown Clemson. Horn with a touchdown catch.
A late flag.
There is a flag at the 8-yard line.
It was a late flag, too. Thrown in the area where there's usually holding, but on a play like that, you think somebody might have released downfield.
Yep,
they did.
That's exactly what happened.
That's why it comes out late a lot of times, because they'll count, they'll look to see where everybody is, and if you've got the wrong number and you're downfield, they're going to call you.
With an ineligible receiver downfield on the offense, 5 yards, still first down.
More importantly, you've got the young guy, Nelon Green, coming up with another big play, even though it's called back. And every play gives him more confidence. I know Tommy West was saying early in the season, one of his biggest jobs was to build up the confidence of Nelon Green. Well, it looks like he's not only built up his confidence, but here he puts pressure on the corner like he's going to run, sees the guy. He's covered pretty well there by Bostic, but still he just kind of threads it, puts it right where only his guy can get it. Right now he's playing with a great deal of confidence.
Penalty backs them up to the 15-yard line, though. Emery Smith, Derek Shepard this time. Big number 92, the junior out of Dayton, Ohio. And he had a lot of help from a number of white jerseys.
Yeah, Shepard got there first, bounced off Shepard, and bounced right into Bradford. A couple of 290-pound guys.
It's a lot of muscle going head-to-head. Emery Smith, 241 pounds. Shepard and Bradford right around 290, as you mentioned.
This is 2nd and long now, Terry. You'll take your fullback out, so Smith comes out of the ballgame. They put an extra wide receiver. They show pass, and that's a great time to run it. Out of the shotgun, though, most of the time they do throw.
2nd and 15. They can get a first down, but inside the 1. Green over the middle, the Horn. Still on his feet. inside the 5 down to the 3-yard line. Jimmy Clemens hit him first. I'm not sure how Tony Horn stood up.
Boy, as a defender, they always tell you to wrap your arms. If you have good contact, it's always not going to knock you down. Now watch 28 come hit him. Boom. But doesn't wrap his arms, so he just bounces off and picks up another 4 yards. Clemens has to wrap his arms. He's got to wrap, lock, and take down.
Horn 4 catches on the day for 74 yards. And, of course, they call back the touchdown catch moments ago. So it's 3rd down and 3 just outside the 3-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Green. Still up. Throws it late. Touchdown to Kenya Crooks. He waited until the last moment. He wouldn't go down and had the vision to find Crooks in the corner of the end zone.
You know, the line of scrimmage, though, was the 4-yard line. I thought he was across the line of scrimmage. Between the 3- and 4-yard line. Well, it's a great play by Nealon Green to again put pressure on the corner like he's going to run it. If they commit and come up, then he just throws it. Keep an eye on where he throws this ball, but it's a moot point now. No, he was legal. He was legal. Put the pressure on the corner like he was going to run. They came up to support it, and he just threw over it.
Well, it's great composure, too, for the junior quarterback. And the touchdown pass. Paget on for the extra point, and they love it here in Death Valley. Over 70,000 most wearing orange as you look at the touchdown pass of Nealon Green to Kenya Crooks, making the score 21-10 in favor of the Tigers. Teams have played 61 times. The first meeting back in 1898, and a look at the Clemson team photo from that year. The Tigers winning in that first matchup 23-0 in Augusta, Georgia, and going on to finish the season 3-1. They've played football for a long time, and most of the meetings taking place elsewhere. In fact, they've only played 8 times here at Clemson.
You know, we laughed about that yesterday. To me, that is amazing that as long as they've been playing football against each other, only 8 down here at Clemson, South Carolina.
Yeah, from 1907 to 1974, they played elsewhere.
You know, the reason for that a lot early on anyway was that they didn't have a gate down here. People would just come in and watch. You couldn't make any money playing at Clemson.
Richardson's kick, sending Rogers back. This one's going to sail out of the end zone, and Georgia Tech will bring it out to the 20-yard line. When you look at what's taken place so far, Timmy, and Clemson's had their problems this year, but not today. They look awfully impressive on offense.
Yeah, they really have. They've been able to run the option. They've been able to do play action. They've been able to put pressure on the corners with Nealon Green. And when you do that, you know, the defense becomes unsure of itself. And if it's not playing good, solid, disciplined defense, taking care of your own area, you know, it breaks down where you get to the point where you got to play assignment defense. And right now, they aren't getting the job done. Clemson's playing with a great deal of confidence.
I think that's the buzzword, too. You mentioned Nealon Green and his confidence after the North Carolina game to open up the year and all the struggles there. He was down and out, but he's back. Quick out to Charlie Rogers. Almost went down, but still up, and now down at the 26-yard line. Let's check in very quickly with Roger Twibell in New York. Roger?
Coming up on Valvoline Halftime 96, Todd Blackledge and I'll have all the scores and highlights for you from this 3rd Saturday in October. Give me that darn thing. He's always watching Penn State football. That's Valvoline Halftime 96.
At least Todd is out front and center. Usually at this time, he's back in the control room watching game tape.
Yeah, see, he's still watching games. He's still watching monitors. He's got his remote controls in every pocket.
Charlie Rogers on the carry out to about the 29-yard line. We'll see how close he is to a first down. Now the Florida score 14-7 over the Tigers of Auburn. So it brings up 3rd down and 1. Good one going on with Purdue and Ohio State. 14-0. Full house backfield again. Guba in leading the way. C.J. Williams with the carry, fighting his way to the 30. That's where he had to get. O.J. Childress in on the stop. And we'll see if he indeed got enough for the 1st down. Well, he is just short of the 30-yard line, and that's where he had to get to.
They're going to bring the chains out and give this a measurement. I think he is just a little bit short.
So that Nebraska-Texas Tech game, 3-point game, that should be a good one all afternoon long.
I'll tell you this, if he doesn't get it and he's a little bit short.
No!
Well, you heard the no.
I'm going to tell you, I think it's too early to go for it. You got to punt it out of there. You can't risk and put the game on the line this early in the game.
And that's exactly what George O'Leary is going to do. And we've given a lot of credit to the offense of Clemson, but you got to give credit to the defense too.
Yeah, there are a lot of people watching this game say, hey, wait a minute, Georgia Tech fans. They're going to say, why didn't he go for it? He only needed a couple inches. You backed up like this, you got to get it out of there.
Rodney Williams on for the punt. Dexter McCleon back at his own 34-yard line. Williams off the side of his foot. This is a short kick. McCleon tells the rest of the Tigers to get out of the way. And they punt that at the 40-yard line. So a punt of only 31 yards, no return. Well, tonight on ABC, all new episodes of Second Noah. Craig T. Nelson in coach. Common Law and Relativity. All new, all tonight on ABC. And by the way, game 1 of the World Series, if you haven't heard at this point, probably have, but rained out up in New York. We'll try it tomorrow. Huge break for the Braves. Yep. Green over the middle. He has Crooks. What a catch at the 35-yard line. He had a touchdown catch a moment ago. This time to the air and a gain of 24.
Crooks on Bostic. 6'3" against 5'9". Didn't even have to use his height here. He beat him to the inside. With that step right there, he beat him across the middle in the post pattern, and the ball was there. That's the important thing. Nealon Green is putting the ball where only his receivers can get him. He's now 7 for 10, 120 yards and a touchdown.
If you're Dave Huxtable, the defensive coordinator for Georgia Tech, you got to be thinking, hey, Nealon Green hasn't thrown like this all season long, but he has played like this the last 2 years against the Jackets. A little shovel pass inside. Raymond Priester still up and fighting his way down to the 26 and appreciated by the crowd. He should have gone down back at the 30.
Now you play armchair quarterback and you go back and you say, wait a minute, should they have gone for it on 4th down because they haven't been able to stop Clemson yet? This is the safest play in football, a little shuffle pass. If he drops it, it's incomplete. But watch this. Georgia Tech is not wrapping its arms. They still aren't getting guys down. They aren't completing the play. They aren't wrapping. They're letting go early. They think they're just going to be able to pull guys down with pressure, and they aren't doing it.
Horn and Woods to the near side. Crooks to the far side. 3 receivers set. On the roll is Green. Has a lane. It closes quickly, but he gets ahead to the 23. And a 1st down for the Tigers. Keith Brooking made the stop, but they moved the chains once again. And the Tigers keeping it rolling here with 1:47 left until halftime.
Has Clemson had the punt yet today? I mean, Clemson has one punt, and that's it. Other than that, Georgia Tech hadn't stopped them yet.
You and I have been watching Clemson a long time, too, and this is as impressive as their offense has been, I think, in years. This one batted down. Jimmy Clements on the blitz. Got that 6'3" frame in the air and batted down the pass.
And we've seen Georgia Tech a lot this year, too. And this is perhaps as weak as we've seen the defense. This is as many tackles as we've seen Georgia Tech miss all year. I mean, against Carolina, it's a club that really killed itself with penalties and turnovers and missed tackles. That's about as bad as we'd seen other than today. But they've got to start wrapping their arms. They've got to cause some problems defensively and haven't been able to do it.
That one batted down by Jimmy Clements. Nealon Green had 7 completions in a row until that pass. They split Smith and Priester, and Green out of the shotgun. Inside give to Priester. bouncing back to the 20. That's about it, though. Ron Rogers wasn't fooled.
Well, this will help, Terry. For the first time in a while, they've got 3rd down and long. It'll be almost 6 yards for the first, maybe even a little longer than that, almost 8 for the first down. So you put Clemson in a situation now where they have to become at least somewhat predictable.
Clock running down to a minute and counting. And Clemson with 2 timeouts. And now it is running down to 50 as Nealon Green is just standing there talking to the official.
Well, Clemson has not beaten a ranked team in Death Valley since 1993. This win could be huge for Tommy West trying to turn this program and this season around.
Tommy West trying to make sure that Georgia Tech, if they don't convert on this 3rd down, and no matter what they do on 4th, Georgia Tech does not have time to run a play offensively. They run it down to 44 seconds until half, and it will be 3rd and 7 when Nealon Green comes back to the field. Well, Tommy West Club 3-3 coming into this game, 2-2 in the ACC, and they've known tough times trying to come back from that. You had the incidents before the season began, the number of transgressions that led to this dismissal of a number of kids, also the suspension of a number of kids, trying to bring this back. And right now, there's no question that he prepared his club for this game, a huge one here in Death Valley today.
You know, talking with Tommy yesterday, you could almost see the pain in his face. I mean, in February, you got the 4 freshmen that were arrested on sexual assault. You've got the possession with intent to distribute marijuana from other kids. You've got the SAT problem he had where Price left. And, you know, all that stuff just kind of built up to the point where, you know, he was trying to keep everybody on track. He's been talking to the student body. He was talking to the press. He was talking to the president. He was talking to all the professors. He's trying to get his program back on track to the point where people will respect it, where he won't have any problems, get rid of all the troublemakers. And he's trying to sell his kids on that. And he says most of our kids are good kids. And it's been difficult. And he's going to face that problem now when he goes recruiting, because other coaches will talk about the problems. But he had them ready here today.
To his credit, he hasn't sidestepped any of it. He's dealt with it head on. 3rd down and 7 at the 20 for Clemson. Green with time now steps up and goes down at the 21. Bradford had a hand on him and pulled him to the ground. The clock running with 30 and counting. 1 timeout left for the Tigers. They've got to get to the 13-yard line for a 1st down.
You got 20 on the game clock, 25 on the play clock, and the play clock is not even running as they stop it. Georgia Tech takes a timeout. So, you know, Georgia Tech's trying to get it back one more time, but it's not enough. Watch Bradford. You know, in the last timeout, I'm sure the coaches called the whole defense over. They did, and I'm sure they talked about wrapping guys up and not letting them go. You see, Bradford here got a hand on him, just held on to the jersey, stayed with him, never let the jersey go until he was on the ground.
That's a big play, too, because you've got 19 seconds left now until halftime. And Clemson sending Matt Padgett out to try to make it a 24-10 game. But he didn't get anywhere close to a 1st down where Tommy West could even think about going for it on 4th. Still a timeout remaining for both clubs. Right now, Georgia Tech probably wanting to get to that locker room to try to figure out how they can stop this Clemson offense.
Matt Padgett has everything going for him, too. He's got the sun at his back, the wind at his back.
Some kicking problems early for Clemson this year. Padgett now on doing a good job for the Tigers.
He's on a little bit of a roll. He's 3 for 4. But as you mentioned, he's the 3rd kicker Tommy West has had to use this year.
He came off the baseball team. As a matter of fact, made his debut at Florida State. A try of 37 yards. And it's blocked.
That can be returned.
Nobody there to return it now, though. Clemson downing it inside the 5-yard line, but maybe a bit of momentum now for Georgia Tech as they're about to head to the locker room.
Yeah, once it came across the line of scrimmage, you could see the Georgia Tech guys clear. I thought when it went straight up in the ground, up in the air rather, that they'd have a chance to get to it. It was a good snap and a good hold.
May have been Brooking, number 35.
Padgett got to it, but it is Brooking who got the hand on it. Now it went straight up in the air, and it looked like, hey, if Rodgers or somebody can make that grab, they can return it. But once it came across the line of scrimmage, everybody backed away from it. You got 11 seconds left in the half, and George O'Leary saying, hey, the defense made a stop. Good job.
You see it so often, to me. A team may not be playing that well, or another team has all the momentum. If you do something positive right before going to the locker room, it can really turn things around for you, and that may have been it for George O'Leary's club. 11 seconds left. They're going to run it with C.J. Williams, who put it on the turf on the last possession, but he's down at the 27. So first half is over. 21-10. The Clemson Tigers are ahead of Georgia Tech. Coming up, Valvoline halftime 96 from New York.